Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Miss Holler. Last lessons we were learning about the macromolecule that make all of the macromolecules that make up cells. And before that, we had learned about the scientists that discovered cells, plants and animal cells using microscopes and how they came up with the cell theory that lets us know that all living things are made up of cells. And that is one of our characteristics of living things. They are organized, and that starts with the cell. So now we're going to add a little bit of information to that. So for the objective, we should be able to, by the end of this video, be able to tell the difference between a plant and animal cell. All right, when you think about it, life is all around us all the time. So take a moment to just look out your nearest window. What do you see? If you're in a city, maybe you see streets bustling with people. And I think most of you live in the city. Maybe you live in a suburban area or even a country setting where you can see lots of plants and trees outside. But no matter where you are surrounded by living things that have one amazing thing in common, and that is that they are made of cells. What exactly are cells and why are they so important to living things? Cells are often called the building blocks of life because they are the smallest living part of an organism. Although they are tiny, cells do really important work. Think of cells as small compartments that hold all of the biological information an organism needs to survive and thrive. Every living thing has cells working hard to do things like converting energy, digesting food, getting rid of waste, taking in oxygen, and reproducing. Cells do these jobs in order to keep an organism alive. Right now, you have lots of busy cells in your body. Recently, a group of scientists wanted to find out just how many cells each one of us has. What do you think they found? Take a guess. Scientists found that there are more than 37 trillion cells in the average human body. That's an incredible number of cells. We are on our way to learning about plant and animal cells, but right here, you guys are going to end up answering some questions in your Edpuzzle about this video so that we can just check understanding and review the information we've learned so far. All right, so now that we know that all living things are made of cells, when we look out our window, we could see that all living things are not the same. Some are plants, while others are animals. Humans, as humans, our bodies contain animal cells. Since scientists believe there are more than 37 trillion cells in our bodies, we should find out exactly what these cells do for us. Our tiny animal cells are hard at work, doing the jobs that allow us to be healthy and strong. Each of our animal cells has 5 basic parts. First, it has a cell membrane. The cell membrane has 2 important jobs or functions. First, it surrounds the cell and holds it together. And second, it allows oxygen into the cell and carbon dioxide waste to get out of the cell. The cell membrane is like a doorman at a fancy hotel. He decides who gets to come into the hotel, and he opens the door for those who want to leave. In addition to a cell membrane, our animal cells have a nucleus. Think of the nucleus as the brain of the cell. It controls everything our cell does and directs its activities. Another important job of the nucleus is that it stores all the important information about the cell that will eventually be passed on to new cells, but we'll learn more about that later. In addition to the cell membrane and the nucleus, animal cells also have something called mitochondria. Think of the mitochondria as the energy factories of our animal cells. They take in the chemical energy in food and turn it into energy that the cell can use to do its work or jobs. Next, animal cells have structures called vacuoles. Vacuoles are the warehouse of the cell. They store all of the water, food, and nutrients needed by cells. They also store the cell's waste until it is ready to be released through the cell membrane. Finally, all animal cells have cytoplasm, and cytoplasm is this area that you can see that looks like mint green. It is a jelly-like material that provides a soft cushion for all of the parts of the cell. So they're all the other parts that we just talked about, the nucleus, the mitochondria, the vacuoles, are found in the cytoplasm. And I always told my students to kind of think of it like as having the consistency of like a gel. Okay, at this point, again, we've learned a lot about animal cells, and you guys are going to answer some questions here on the Edpuzzle. So now we have a good understanding of the cells in animals. You may have I can speak. In the animals that we have seen, that you may have seen out of your window. What if your view was of plants and trees? Those do the cells in those plants have the same parts as our animal cells? The answer is yes. Just like Thor is saying, yes. All right, plant cells have the same parts as animal cells, plus they have several more. So they have a cell membrane, a nucleus, mitochondria, and a cytoplasm. Plant cells also have vacuoles like animal cells. However, where animal cells have several small vacuoles, plant cells have one very large vacuole. So you can see how much space this vacuole takes up. Why do you think plant cells only have one vacuole? Do you remember that vacuoles store water? Animals have smaller vacuoles because if they get thirsty, they can go and get a drink of water. Plants, on the other hand, have to rely on rainfall to get their drink. What if the forecast doesn't call for rain for a really long time? The vacuoles in plants need to be large enough to store water until the next rainfall. Plant cells also have two bonus features that animal cells don't have. First, while they are surrounded by a cell membrane, which we already learned about, animal cells also have a rigid or stiff cell wall. This cell wall sits outside the cell membrane, so you can see it here. It's on the outside. Cell membranes here on the inside, cell walls on the outside. And it provides structure and support to plant cells. Plants need cell walls because, unlike most animal cells, they don't have skeletons to give them support. The stiff cell wall gives the plant the ability to stand strong and tall when faced with the wind, rain, and snow. The second thing that plant cells have that animal cells do not are chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are the food makers of plant cells, and they contain a tiny green molecule called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll allows plants to make food through photosynthesis by turning energy from the sun into chemical energy, which plants use as food. Again, you just learned a lot of new information. So we're going to stop here and you're going to answer some questions in your Edpuzzle. So we have learned a lot about the different parts of animal and plant cells. But what exactly do these cells do for animals and plants? Well, cells certainly are active and busy. As we learned earlier, they are responsible for pretty much everything that it takes to keep plants and animals alive and thriving. So cells' jobs are pretty much to keep the organism alive. And we are going to learn more on cells and organelles to come. So don't worry. I know it's a lot of information, but this is just the difference between plant and animal cells. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.